This is Next Tech Insider, powered by Empiric, where we're looking to banter with some of the most eclectic pioneering minds to uncover the insider view on tech issues that really matter, both for business and citizens. In my hot seat today is Professor Misha Dola, a world-renowned expert on all things future tech and in particular the Internet of Things. Misha, thanks for bantering with us today.
Our pleasure. Always good time with you. Yeah.
Yes. So, look, the Internet of Things has transformed hugely in the last decade, right? But what, in your view, are the most pivotal changes that have driven this evolution?
So we had huge changes on the supply side of technology, but also on the demand side. We always need both to have big transformative changes happening, right? So let's look at the supply side. So we cracked the problem of connectivity, something we struggled with for the last 20, 30, 40 years, right? We came up with new systems, and suddenly now I think we finally settled on some connectivity technologies. And on the industry side, so B2B, which is the more serious side of the Internet of Things, which I think where the real business is, we got used to on how to use the data, which is the most important thing, because just have the data is useless, right? So what IoT produces, what do you do with that? Now you need to tell exactly upstream and downstream how people are going to use all these insights, and that is slowly coming along. And once that really takes off, IoT will really take off.
Got it. So we're talking more predictive data, perhaps even the kind of live actionable insights that preempt a customer's needs, anticipates a customer's needs, B2B or B2C, before they even know they need that product, perhaps would be very, very helpful.
Scary.
Misha, when we talk about IoT, we're talking about so much more than just one particular area. We're talking about open data, data analytics, sensor networks. So there's surely a lot of opportunities here for talent, either wanting to break into the sector or wanting to take their career to the next level. What needs to be top of mind for them?
Security needs to be really on top. Privacy, you need to understand the new rules coming out, and you know, we lack people who really know about the privacy rules, best practice. We need to know about APIs, so because everything will be about putting systems together, and that typically happens over APIs. Maybe mingle in a little bit of AI, because we need to manage all these complex systems, so artificial intelligence clearly will be an enabler. So these are the four things: security, privacy, AI, and APIs.
So Misha, there's this notion that you see now in the mainstream quite often, which is Internet of People. Demystify that for us.
Actually, at King's, we're developing something which I call the Internet of Skills. And the idea is to be able to transmit skills, physical skills, touch, kinesthetic muscle movements. So imagine surgeons doing remote operations. I'm teaching somebody how to play the piano. Somebody teaches me how to paint because I have no idea how to do it. So the ability to transmit something which is very innate to us humans, I think, will be the next big thing. So we're not building Industry 4.0, we are building Human 4.0.
Love that. And then Misha, so on that, it's a really fascinating sort of theme. How will that actually take place, in the sense of what will that look like? Are we talking about touch sensors? Are we talking about haptic gloves? Are we talking about, for example, using a mixed reality construct where you probably put on a virtual reality headset and you've got, for example, some of the touch sensors worked into the gloves that, in fact, are already being developed today, and I've tried some of these things that allow you to then feel like you're touching digital objects in your virtual atmosphere when actually all you're grasping is mid-air. Might it look something like that, or have I just gone on a completely different tangent?
Something along these lines. You got a good fantasy here, or a good technology, right?
Yeah, I know.
So what we're really trying to do is to bring things together which are already out there, right? So what it really will look like in 10 years' time is a really good telecoms network together with some really great edge robotics, because you need like kinesthetic exoskeletons and haptic gloves and all that, plus some AI in there to beat the speed of light. I'll talk about this maybe another occasion. Put all together and suddenly you have this new internet.
And you've got objects talking to each other, inter-object connectivity as well. But a lot of this opens up some great privacy implications. And then you've got another aspect, which is security. So there's quite a lot to think about here. How do we mitigate some of these risks? I know it's a big question.
It's a huge question, and let me start with the security. So there are a lot of unknowns, and particularly since we don't know what the quantum age really will yield. So quantum computers are able to break our traditional security, and you could one day wake up and being told by the government, sorry, security has been cracked by quantum computers. You can change your mobile phone, you can change your computer, but who's going to change the trillions of sensors rolled out, the security on that? And it becomes a real problem if these sensors are actually active. Imagine you have suddenly control over a pacemaker, over a car, over an airplane. So we have huge reservations about this, and the scientific community is working frantically on that. Now, from a privacy point of view, assuming that even the security is tight, everything, nobody can actually read the data, assume that for a moment, even then we're not quite sure how things will end up, because right now we cannot interact with these sensors, right? Is the sensor, the fire alarm here, is it on? Is there a camera in there? Is there a microphone in there? Can we, where's the data going? We just don't know. So we need to develop trust with the technology, and we need to have maybe some policy frameworks around that. And once that is done, I think the Internet of Things will really take off, both in consumer as well as in the business world.
That's a very interesting point you make, because psychologically, the ability to be able to switch something off, unplug something, makes you feel like, it's not tracking me anymore, or it doesn't have information that I don't want it to have, or what information does it even have? I don't want to even think about it. So let's switch tracks ever so slightly. The tech industry still needs to kind of address the gender balance. I know we hear about it a lot, but I always like to ask thought leaders like yourself, what do you think we can do to create a proper systemic shift and move the needle on that sustainably, so that there's a bit more of the gender balance coming in the pipeline. So for instance, Empiric Power Next Tech Girls, which are an absolutely fantastic initiative that match young women with very valuable real world tangible tech experience, and it's a win-win for the company and the young person. So do you think we need more of that?
We need more. And I'm very, very happy to hear that this is happening here. Loads of really interesting initiatives here in the UK and worldwide. And I feel we're at the, the cusp of something really interesting. And interesting means that we're going to streamline that process, because what we really want is that in 10 years' time, we just don't talk about this anymore. It is just natively part of the decision. No issue at all, right? But at the very early stage, we need this impetus. We need champions. So let's make as many grassroots initiatives as we can right now until it becomes part of the DNA of the society.
Well, Misha, thank you for doing this today. It's been great bantering with you as always.
Pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you guys for watching.